Dear students, welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to talk about the demand paging. And demand paging system, it is very similar to the paging system with the swapping that we discussed earlier. Let us consider we want to load a particular program, executable program, into the main memory from the disk. So what are the different options we have? One option is to load the entire program in physical memory at program execution time. However, a problem with this approach is that we may not initially need the entire program in the memory. Suppose a program starts with a list of available options and from which user will select a particular option. Now, since we have loaded the entire program, what will happen? User may not choose all the options. So, certain part of the code or the certain option is not at all clicked. Only certain portion will be used. So, that is how the memory will become redundant. And what is the other way to do it? And alternative strategy is to load pages only when they are needed. Okay, so we will load the pages only when they are needed. This technique is known as the demand paging and is commonly used in the virtual memory systems. So the idea here is we will not load the entire program. Instead, we will load the pages as and when they are needed. So bring the page into memory only when it is needed. So doing that, it gets us a lot of benefits. Less IO required, less memory needed, right? Because we are not going to bring in the complete program or the process. We are going to the load only the pages that are required. Faster response and more users can be accommodated. Now, how it is implemented? Okay, the whenever there is a need for a page, certain page is required, then a reference will be made to that particular page, and if that reference seems to be invalid, then that particular program will be aborted. So whatever the page request is made, if that reference is invalid, then program will be aborted. Let us say whatever the reference that is made to the page, so this is the page which is not present in the memory. Whenever a page request is done which is not present in the memory, first it will be checked for whether the reference is valid or not. If it is invalid, the program will be aborted. If it is a valid reference and the particular page is not present in the memory, then it will be bring to the memory. It will be brought from the disk to the main memory. So we will talk about this in the subsequent slides. So here you can see that this is the demand paging with swapping in and swapping out of the processes. So here you can say this is the main memory and this is the disk. Whenever there is a certain program, certain process needs to be given execution or the CPU time, and if in the main memory if the space is not available, certain processes are selected to swap out. Okay, again it depends on the what kind of algorithm we implement to swap out and swap in. There are different kinds of algorithms that can be used. So based on that, certain process is selected and its process state is saved and that program is swapped out onto the disk, right? And whenever a certain process needs to be brought into the memory, because it has to be scheduled for the execution, that particular time we swap in. So when we do the swap in, those pages will be brought into the main memory, and at the time of execution the process state is restored and the execution is performed. So this is a valid invalid bit. So the implementation of the demand paging is done with a page table. So we will have a page table. This page table will be it will form as a mapping. We saw this in the paging technique. The page table it acts as a mapping table, mapping between the logical address and the physical address. So one side we will be having a logical memory and then page table, and it maps to the physical memory. So what the entry that we will be having in the page table, so this particular page table will be indexed by the page number of the logical address, and its contents is the frame number. Okay, frame number which is the number, that is how we divide the physical memory. The physical memory is divided into different frames, and this gives us the page number and the frame mapping. And along with this we have a valid invalid bit. So in the earlier paging technique we discussed about this valid invalid bit as a mechanism of a protection. The same bit is used for the demand paging here. In this case initially, okay, when we start with, initially this table will be loaded with all 0. Valid invalid bit will be loaded with a 0. As and when we have a page mapping here, whenever we get a valid page mapping, page and the frame mapping, we will mark that particular valid invalid bit as 1. So 1 meaning it is valid, and 0 meaning it's a invalid. With each table entry a valid invalid bit is associated. One is in memory, or we can say it is a valid. Okay, so in case of a demand paging we use it as a in memory, and 0 is not in memory. Also it can be invalid also, so we will take it as 1 is valid and 0 is invalid. Initially valid invalid bit is set to 0 on all entries, so all the entries would be initially 0. Now whenever during address translation, okay, whenever there is a page request from the logical memory, if you want to map to the physical memory, we check the particular page number, and before getting to the frame number, first we will check the valid invalid bit. If it is valid, means what, that particular page is available in the main memory. Means if this valid bit is 1, that particular page is available in the main memory. And if the bit is 0, there are two possibilities. If bit is 0, it is a invalid, so a trap is generated to the OS, operating system. Operating system will check whether this is a invalid reference of the memory, or whatever the logical address that is generated, if it is not in the process address space, so it is beyond the process address space, then that particular time it can be a invalid reference to the address space. In that case, operating system will abort the program. So we will not allow invalid reference of the memory. And the another meaning of the 0 could be either it is a invalid reference of the memory, or it is a valid reference to the memory. If it is a valid reference to the memory, then it is the meaning is that it is not in the main memory. So this particular requested page is not available in the main memory. So what needs to be done? That needs to be that particular page which is residing on the physical memory has to be loaded into the main memory. So operating system will in the later slide we'll see how that sequence of events happen. The operating system will get that particular page from the disk or the secondary memory and loads it onto the memory main memory, and also it will update the page table. Okay, once we get the requested page loaded, then the particular instruction, whatever the wherever the process had stopped, it will continue the execution from that particular instruction, with the assumption that that particular page was always available. Okay, page table when some pages are not in main memory. Here you can see the logical memory, and this is the page table. Here you can see valid invalid bit as V and I. So it is just a one flag. Either it can be 1 0 or V or I. V is valid, I is invalid. So you can see we have process A and C and F. Those are mapped to the frame number 0. A is page 0 and 2, 0 1 2. C is mapped to frame number 6, and 5 is the page F, that is mapped to the frame number 9. So this is how the mapping takes place in case of the page table. Okay, what is a page fault? So in the previous discussion we talked about here, whenever we have a page request, that particular page is checked onto the page table, and if it is invalid, so if it is invalid, then there are two possibilities. One is that a particular address reference is invalid, means that is a wrong memory access, or it is that particular page is not available in the main memory. If it is in that case, we call it as a page fault. If the page is available on the main memory, means if the page is already loaded onto the main memory, then that page is served. Or if that page is not available, okay, that is I, then we call it as a page fault. Okay, if there is a ever a reference to a page, first reference will be trapped to a operating system, that is page fault. Okay, page fault is means if that particular page is not available in the memory, then in the page table we will have the entry as I, invalid or 0. So that will result in a trap, and that trap is captured by the operating system. Then what the operating system looks is, operating system looks at another table to decide whether it is an invalid reference or it is just not in memory. So it will look into some other data structure, and it will check whether it is a valid, whether it is an invalid reference, or it is because of that particular page is not loaded into main memory. If it is the second scenario, that is that particular page is not available in the main memory, what operating system will do, it will get an empty frame. So it will have a frame list data structure. In the frame free frame list data structure, we will have the list of all the frames which are free. It will get an empty frame and swap page into the frame. So it will get the particular page from the secondary memory, it will swap into that particular frame. Then it will reset the table, reset the page table, because in the page table we have a entry as invalid, or the valid invalid bit is set as 0, or I, that will be set as 1, or it will be set as valid, and then we will restart the instruction. So when a process is executing certain instruction, and that is when it makes a request to a page. Okay, when the process is getting executed certain instruction, there is a page request, and when that page request was made and it is found that that particular page is not available in the memory, main memory, that is when the trap is generated. OS will check whether that is a valid reference, then it will get from the secondary memory, load set into the main memory. Once the page is loaded, again we will restart that instruction. First time the instruction was stopped or aborted because the page was not available, so we will generate a trap there. So the process was aborted because the particular page was not available. Once the operating system gets that page and loads it into the main memory, again it will restart from the when the instruction where we got the page fault. Okay, now that particular instruction will require the page which is already loaded into the main memory, and it will continue with the execution. Steps in handling the page fault. So there is a certain instruction which which requires a particular page. When particular page is requested, first it will go and check it in the page table, and in the page table we found that valid invalid bit is set as I or 0. That means this is it will generate a trap. So it is a invalid reference, or this particular requested page is not available in the main memory. So a trap is generated. Operating system takes care of that particular trap, and it will check whether it is an invalid reference or whether it is that particular page is not available. If it is a invalid reference to the memory, then this particular process will be aborted. Else, if it is a valid reference, that means that particular requested page is not available in the main memory. Then what it will do is, the page is on the backing store, so it will check the backing store. So it is a secondary memory. It will check for that particular page, and also it will find the empty frame, and it will load that particular page into the empty frame. Okay, you can see it is loading. Bring in the missing page. So it will get the missing page, and it will load it into the free frame. Once it is loaded into the free frame, it is available. Then what it will do is, it will reset the page table. It will go back and change the flag. Okay, it will change the flag to the valid, or it will change it to 1. Once it is done, now particular page is available. Then what it will do is, the last step is restart the instruction wherever we got the page fault. Okay, wherever the process requested for a page and we got a page fault, that particular instruction will be restarted, and the process will continue from that instruction, and it will continue with the rest of the instruction. So whenever there is a page request which is not available in the main memory, operating system will load back that particular page into the memory and restarts that instruction. So this is how the demand paging works. What happens if there is a no frame? So in the previous step, you saw here, operating system will check the backing store or the secondary memory, and it will get that particular page, and it will load into some free frame. So what if we don't have any free frame? Means the frames are not available. In that case, we use the page replacement policy. So again, it's another algorithm where it uses different policies to implement this algorithm, where it will select a particular frame and it will replace with whatever the page it wants to load. So page replacement, find some page in memory but not really in use, swap it out. Means it will find a particular page which is least used, and it will swap it out and bring in the whatever the requested page. Okay, performance want an algorithm which will result in a minimum number of page faults. So whenever page fault happens, this is a additional overhead. Whenever the memory access happens without the page fault, the amount of memory access time is very less compared to if there is a page fault. If there is a page fault, in the previous slide you looked into what are the different events happen. So whenever it becomes invalid, there is a page fault, trap is generated, then OS will comes into picture, and it loads back the page and it restarts the instruction, all those things are additional overheads, so it will cause the performance issues. We want to have a algorithm in such a way that there are minimum page faults. So here is the one calculation for the performance of a demand paging. So here we consider the page fault rate. P is the what? Probability of a page fault, and its value lies between 0 and 1. If I say a page fault probability is 0.5, that meaning of that is 50% of the time we get the page fault. Okay, whenever there is a page fault, again there is an additional overhead that we just saw. So if P is 0, means there is no page faults. So 0 page faults, that means whatever the process was requesting, all the pages were available on the main memory. And the other, this is a one extreme case, the other extreme case is P is equal to 1, means every reference, every time the instruction wants some page that is not available in the main memory, that causes a page fault. And how do we calculate the effective access time, EAT? EAT is equal to 1 minus P. P is the page fault rate, or you can say probability of the page fault. 1 minus P into memory access time plus P into, see, these are the different overheads we are going to have if there is a page fault. One is page fault overhead plus swap page out plus swap page in. So we have to page out and page in, restart overhead. So we are restarting the instruction. It includes all these overheads along with the regular memory access time. So this is how we calculate the effective access time. Here is a one example. Memory access time is 1 microsecond. Let's say there is a 50% of the time page that is being replaced has been modified and therefore needs to be swapped out. If the page rate is 50%, the swap page time is 10 milliseconds. So for swapping the page, it takes 10 millisecond, which is nothing but 10,000 microsecond. We are not considering additional overheads. If we calculate the access time, effective access time, 1 minus P into 1 microsecond plus P into 10,000. So any time we have a page fault, there is a drastical increase in the access time. So effective access time will increase drastically whenever we have the page fault. So if we have page fault very minimal, then the effective access time will be reduced.